How is the fight against pace going?
The biggest problem is people are thinking we need to win or we're losing, and that's not the goal in this fight. The first obstacle is to limit the spread while overcoming those who have become infected. If we can do that, then we'll start to get ahead. That's why we've supported all these quarantines and provided as much intelligence as we can to uncover indicators that will help us in this fight so that we can all go back to some semblance of normality. And I have to be honest, I don't think that normal is going to be back anytime soon.
What do you mean we may not see normal again?
I think at least for now that we come to the realization that this is going to be with us for some time. Think about HIV and AIDS. That's something that's still with us today. And when it started, it changed our world. It changed the way we saw things. We didn't understand it. People took extra precautions, and in the end, they did a lot of things that were wrong. And they're still doing it. I don't think people fully understand that situation at all today. People were jailed, for instance, for spitting on someone else, and now we know that that's not true, but it's possible that people could still be jailed for something like that. It's seeing them as an assault, and now we have something that changes the fundamental nature of the person that it infects. How devastating is that going to be down the road? Right now we can clearly tell the difference between someone who is sick and not, but what happens when we can't anymore? What happens if the sick effectively outnumber those that aren't? How do you deal with that? How do you tell the difference? What happens when people begin to try to blend in? You can't just bomb cities and assign National Guard troops to shoot indiscriminately. There's ROI, or rules of engagement, that still have to play an important role, and we're ordered, and our opposition isn't. We have to take that into account.
Is that a possibility? That we are being outnumbered?
Right now, no. But if we don't get ahead of this and figure it all out, then we have to come to terms with the inevitable. And that's why it's so important to stop the spread.
How is research going?
As good as it could be expected. Unlike other illnesses where you can simply work on someone, this doesn't allow us to do work during the infection process, except in the most controlled of circumstances, the most sterile of environments, in the appropriate labs. And to even do that, we need permission to do the work from the person who is infected. To put it like that, let's just say we have a lot of hurdles just to do normal research. Thankfully, we've had a lot of funding, a lot of support that's been called forward to Congress to help with that. So that all the best minds in the world at this time are starting work, and they started this work almost on day one.
And have they found anything?
I couldn't speak to anything at this time. It's possible that they found something now and it just hasn't been released yet. There's so much stuff going on right now at the same time. We have so many bodies working on it that it's very hard to calculate where it's at specifically right now, and to give you any kind of a ballpark assessment of what our research has uncovered.
One concern on everyone's mind already. We've seen National Guard, but when will we see the military called into action? Don't you think it's time?
That's difficult to answer. Military on American soil hasn't been considered since, I want to say, the Revolutionary War. We're not in wartime now. We're not going to consider it wartime. So we would need an act by the president and an associated approval of Congress to take any step like that. And there has to be associated laws that go along with that to make that completely happen. And I will admit that it has been considered, but again, the legality of the ruling and how it would happen needs to completely be considered for us to even take that action. And I know it may seem odd, but there's a lot of people who are against that. Amassing our troops in the interior could be a tactical mistake, as well as a logistics one. We still have to consider that our enemies can clearly see this as a time of weakness in our country and use that to strike against us. And without our forces where they are, providing support that they are, that could be detrimental to our national security. So all that being said, Many troops aren't currently being moved back to their U.S. bases or back to their areas of expertise. If they have an ability to help in a situation, maybe that be abroad, and they have been cleared, like myself, to provide research and knowledge to the cause.
Thanks for coming on. We're running late, and that's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next time, and always remember to keep your eyes to the sky.
Welcome to 20MB13 Radio, where we play all the hits and all the great shows for you to check out. Make sure you tune in daily. We'll see you then.
We need blood. Red Squad is a non-profit organization that helps hospitals all over America in a mission of mercy, and we need your help. Hospitals are in the middle of an infection sweeping America, and they need blood now. Your donation could help save a life. Donate blood today and make a difference. Red Squad is coming to a location near you. Give the gift of life.
With current events, people are afraid for their family. Here at Anderson Shelter Systems, we want your family to be safe. Unlike a simple tent that provides little protection from the elements or invasion, Anderson Shelter Systems have you covered. They keep you warm in the cold and cool in the heat and folds up for easy storage. Upgraded track systems are even available. Pick up your Anderson mobile shelter today. Don't be left out in the cold. Your family deserves it.
You're tuned into The Dark Show with Randall Washington, your on-spot host for all the current events. Put on your head straps and get ready for the award-winning, the one and only Dark Show.
Welcome to The Dark Show, and this is Randall Washington. We're known for not holding back here, and today is going to be no different. And in fact, maybe today we'll hold back even less. I gotta be honest, I don't know how much longer we're gonna be on the air. On the one hand, with this disease that is spreading throughout the United States, and it is terrible, don't get me wrong. It turns people into rabid animals that only crave to feed, and worse off, they see us as their food source. On the other hand, we're getting pressure from the government to move over to the emergency broadcast channels. It'll simply take over the airwaves and give us probably the worst broadcasting experience ever created. So what's the pivot point? Well, it's all my lily-livered cohorts in broadcasting. They tucked their tail and ran the second everything went to pot. That's right. They ran like babies. They ran home to mommy, closed up shop. They went from talking tough to, I got to take care of my family. Pansies, every one of them. Well, not here. Thankfully, we're part of a group of guys that know what you want, and we're sticking through this until they force us off the air. That's the only way I'm getting off. I drove to work today in Washington, D.C., and yeah, you can see them. There they are walking the streets, just a couple of them. But I also see the police, and I see fire, and I even see National Guard doing what they do best, protecting citizens, clearing the streets, going from house to house, making sure that everybody's okay. I think most of you are seeing them, especially if you live in some sort of a city or a crowded area. Pretty much everywhere some sort of National Guard or some sort of response has been mustered, civil defense shelters everywhere. And to be honest, I have to say, these infected people, they aren't that scary if you ask me. Running up one in the woods might be kind of frightening, but it's pretty clear how you deal with them. You pop them in the head and it's over. I've gone to personal protection of carrying a bat with me, and you see other people taking the steps that they need to protect themselves with whatever they need to bring to work so they can continue their lives and go on through their day. But still, many shops are just closing up their doors, and I've heard that truckers are not driving into certain areas. Thankfully, we're still here, but like I said, many of these areas that were first hit by, they're calling this a big deal. And talking heads out there are calling it the new normal, by the way, like these people are going to be with us forever. But like all illnesses, no matter how bad this is, it's going to pass. They get weaker. The effects are less and less deadly. And when it's properly junked, they come out with some inoculation or vaccine, and magically it's supposed to disappear. and not to put a tinfoil hat here, but don't you find that very convenient? Don't you find it interesting that every day, every time this happens, it's like the same old story, just now it's just this big thing that came out? And where did it come from? Why did it suddenly come up now? Has it been with us for a long time, or is it something that just really popped out of the woodwork? The truth is, we can't get any answers on that. And that's where the problem lies. It's supposedly too dangerous to do the research to figure out what's going on. And the situation, there's always some excuse. There's always some problem. And that's what we're going to do on the show today. We're tired of the same old boring story of, nothing works and this is not it and this is how it goes. I want to ask you, the listeners out there, what do we need to fix this? What do you guys look for? And so when we come back, we're going to take some calls. I'm going to ask you, what are you afraid of? And we're going to see exactly what the biggest concern is out there haunting everybody today. This is Randall Washington. We're going to be right back on The Dark Show.
Is your skin cracking, dried out? For women, aging may be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. Skincare by Dawn will help you find that youthful look again. Just one application before bed, and everyone will be asking you where the fountain of youth is. Skincare by Dawn gives your skin the nutrients it needs and adds moisturizers to make your skin as silky smooth as the day you were born. It even comes in amazing scents like sandalwood, rosemary, and lavender. Stop aging with the amazing Skincare by Dawn and live life to the fullest. Skincare by Dawn, available in the apothecary store.
Here at Red Blooded Burger, we cook the best meat for your hunger. One bite and you're hooked. If you have the appetite, consider our half-pound heart attack burger meal with steak fries, or if birds of a feather are your thing, try out the chicken plucker burger made with all real prime chicken and our special sauce. We even have the fries on the side if you brought your best gal along. Red Blooded Burger, even you might be on the menu.
Welcome to 20MB13 Radio, where we play all the hits and all the great shows for you to check out. Make sure you tune in daily. We'll see you then. You're back on The Dark Show with Randall Washington. And Randall, that's me. We were just talking on the break, and somebody said, what do we do if we lose all the sponsors? If these stores close up and the quarantine starts, what will happen? Can we stay on the air? Look, when have humans not adapted to problems that they needed to overcome? When have we not found a way to fix all the problems that we have? Lock us in and we'll have pizza delivered. Trust me, somebody out there is going to be working. And what did that guy up at the State House call them? Yes. Essential workers. Well, guess what? Radio is where you get your information. And when everyone falls apart, I'm calling myself an essential worker. And since I'm lazy and can't turn wrenches or fix pipes, I guess I'm stuck on the radio with you guys. So our conversation tonight is revolving around this illness and what you folks out there think. Give me your fears and your input. Caller, you're on the air.
Randall, I don't see the problem. I own a bunch of guns. Why don't people just pick up some firearms, learn to hunt and fish? You can pretty much survive anything with a little bit of preparation. This isn't going to be a big threat to me. Anything comes near me, I'm just going to blast it. And if it gets too hot, I'm headed for the hills. That's what being prepared is all about.
Sounds good. That, I think, is a huge problem out there. We get lazy, fat, we've been spoiled all our lives, and if you're not the lion, then you're the cow. Well, at least that's what I tell my ex-wife. The only problem is being a disease, and we're not 100% on how you get it. The problem may not be something you can just blast away or just try to survive up in the wilderness. And running to the hills, we may still be drinking the same water that infects us. But thanks for calling. Next caller, you're on the air.
My name is Sarah, and my biggest fear is that we won't find a vaccine for this in time. I think we need to lock up the sick and quarantine them separately. The world is a very delicate ecosystem. Why should everyone have to stay locked up if we're not the problem?
Well, my opinion is we don't lock them up. We euthanize everyone that's sick. Full stop. They aren't going to recover, and we just make a very big burn pit and deal with it that way. Just stack them really high. Just like they did with the Black Plague.
That sounds biblical and archaic, if you ask me. Shouldn't we at least give them a little room to work on the infected and try to find a vaccine, a cure, maybe even a treatment?
Sure, Sarah. Let's just serve ourselves up as an hors d'oeuvre while we're at it. See, that's my problem. I don't think there will be a cure or a vaccine. At least it won't be until it's too late. And I think that once you get this, it's over. And everyone I've spoken to thinks the same way. EMTs and paramedics, they try to treat them, and it's impossible. They're completely gone the moment that things kick in. And I don't understand the full lengths of it, but the truth is once this thing gets a hold of you, it's not letting go. They aren't the same person they were a day before. See, I think this illness changes you in ways that doctors won't describe. And that's really the sad fact, is some of the information isn't even coming to us. The fact is, if we don't know what's going on, and I say we take the road of least resistance, and then we don't have to worry about it. Next caller, you're on the air.
I'm a first-time caller, but this just happened. My name is Hector, and my grandpa, he's been sick for a real long time. Longer than this disease has been around. Well, we started having problems getting in touch with the hospital, and he didn't get his pills, and, well, when we went into his room, he was dead. I swear he was dead. He had no pulse or anything. We left the room to try and call the funeral home, and when we came back in, he was standing by the window. He was just staring out into space like he wasn't there. My niece tried to get his attention and call his name. He turned and looked at her and stared for a second, and then he grabbed and bit her. He hurt her real bad. We grabbed him and slammed him to the floor. I had to grab a chair and hit him over the head. I had to hit him a ton of times. They just drove away, rushing my niece to the hospital. I think he really is dead now, though.
Now, I'm going to stop you right there. This isn't the first time that I've heard this story like this, and I think I want to put it to bed. People think that because their relative was sick before and now they're getting worse, and suddenly things go bad, and they say that the person had died and then they were infected fully, etc., and they kind of play this thing backwards. Well, it doesn't make much sense to me. One thing I've read over and over is that people who are immune compromised, like it sounds here, are the ones that are most likely to fall ill from this disease. See, he was fine before, and then he somehow caught it and then got worse. Now, I don't know your full details, but it sounds like you had a lot of family around, and that makes me think that somebody else there possibly had it. Maybe even they're carriers. We don't really know the whole story, and because of his weakened immune system, he was just susceptible to it. But let's be honest, the dead don't get up and they don't walk around. People say they check the pulses too, but honestly, we suck at playing doctor. Ask my first girlfriend. If I'm being blunt, and I always am, you were under a lot of stress and didn't check it correctly, and since you expected him to have passed, you just filled in the blanks in your head. And when the real story is he got sick, and then you exposed him to something that got him sicker, and then he had this system collapse, and here we are. Now, I don't want to belittle your circumstances. You have my condolences. I think you did the right thing with the chair. But you do have to understand that when we're under duress like this and in the throes of chaos, we begin to fill in the blanks on things. And one thing that I think you forgot to do here is you forgot to finish the job. You've got to finish this off by getting the infected guy out of there and dealing with it. You can't have him still in the house, potentially infecting everybody else. and making sure you don't expose anybody else to this while you're at it. Okay, I have to head over to commercial. This is Randall Washington, shaken, not stirred, on The Dark Show. We'll be right back.
With current events, people are afraid for their family. Here at Anderson Shelter Systems, we want your family to be safe. Unlike a simple tent that provides little protection from the elements or invasion, Anderson Shelter Systems have you covered. They keep you warm in the cold and cool in the heat and folds up for easy storage. Upgraded track systems are even available. Pick up your Anderson mobile shelter today. Don't be left out in the cold. Your families deserves it.
Is your skin cracking, dried out? For women, aging may be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. Skincare by Dawn will help you find that youthful look again. Just one application before bed, and everyone will be asking you where the fountain of youth is. Skincare by Dawn gives your skin the nutrients it needs and adds moisturizers to make your skin as silky smooth as the day you were born. It even comes in amazing scents like sandalwood, rosemary, and lavender. Stop aging with the amazing Skincare by Dawn and live life to the fullest. Skincare by Dawn, available in the apothecary store.
This is your breaking news break with news from around the world. In shocking news today, it is believed that the PACE infection has reached pandemic levels, with reports from Korea, as well as possible reports from China and Japan, as individuals reportedly in a rabid state began attacking those around them. Although reports do not match completely, the parallels cannot be ignored. Scientists from Harvard Medical and doctors from the CDC have said that there is a high likelihood that what we are seeing is indeed a variation of the PACE infection that has reached worldwide. Multiple cases are also being confirmed in the UK, as well as other European nations. The World Health Organization says they want to be 100% before confirmation, but also report they believe these cases to be accurate. World leaders in the scientific and medical community are calling it a tragic moment and say they fear the worst may be upon us. This has been your breaking news break. We'll return with more news in a moment.
You're listening to 20MB13 Radio, the place to get all your information needs. Give us a thumbs up and tune in that dial, and we'll continue all the great shows you know and love. Remember to follow this channel for all your entertainment and information needs. Don't miss a single moment, and we won't judge you when you come home late. 20MB13, your last chance in radio. This is Randall Washington, and I seriously don't drink enough coffee for this show. Which show? The Dark Show, of course. You know, the one you're listening to now. Get with the program, people. One thing that has really concerned me lately with the lack of information is misinformation. While we were on the break, it pains me to even admit how many callers have called in saying that there is a treatment, maybe even a vaccine. Where is this miracle drug, you might ask? Well, at the civil defense shelters. I'm not sure where this information came out, but I can assure you that there is no treatment of any kind at the civil defense shelters. We have one local to the radio stations, and I did stop by before coming in because I knew that I wanted to have all the information before we even put this show to air. For the most part, these shelters are empty. Not many people report to them, and I think it's completely out of fear. It's another one of those "we have all the answers," says the government thing, and people just don't trust them. And I'm wondering if they should. You see, all these shelters do is test for the infection. They normally would have people that are sick there, but every time I go to any of these, they look empty. But that's it. They just test for the infection. And I don't know where in any press conference was said they had a treatment, but I've heard this a lot more than I'm comfortable with, and I can assure you there isn't one. I asked everyone I could ask, and the answer was always that there is no treatment, not even a cure. In fact, They wouldn't even describe the testing methods other than I could see vials of blood, and they were close to saying that it was some kind of a blood test. Many of the members there made it pretty clear that if you contracted the illness, that it was game over. It's just a matter of time before it gets in your head and drives you madder than my program manager after I go on air and talk too much. The rest they were resistant to tell me, including what happens if you test positive. With that large storage container out back, it seems to have a lot of flies around them, and the buff security guys toting shotguns that seem to tell me exactly what you get to look forward to if both those little bars in the windows light up. It's really what has made me believe that we treat this just like the Black Plague. It reminds me of the song London Bridge is Falling Down, but now it's our cities and our towns that are ring around the posies. And this is the reasoning that people say I should be afraid, and that every medical professional says death tolls will be in the billions. But that's what they all say. Again, go ahead, look out your window. Anybody watching the show, look outside right now. Or if you're outside, just look around. I'll wait. You know what the most of you are seeing? It's the same thing right now. It's nothing. Hey, maybe there's one or two, maybe a person you might not be sure of staring off into space somewhere. But there's no army out there of infected breaking down your door. No alien eating your cat or dog. Most of the guys that I see that jump out of their own shadows, bags packed and ready to head out into the woods for 6 months, when they hear, just waiting for the go alarm. And then once they hear it, they would do everything, but they haven't even moved. There's no mass migration, no roads clogged with cars. In fact, most everyone I know said they wanted to sit in front of their radio and wait it out, even if they were instructed to leave. They just expect the National Guard to handle it. Even with store shelves emptying of toilet paper and freezers devoid of milk, they know it happens like this all the time. It's every time that we have or told by the news or the broadcast that, we should all just, run away, that there's so much to be afraid of. And that fear is what our very media lives off of. And in a week or two, this is all going to blow over. And if it is that bad, then there's really not much you can do, is there? I mean, that's how the end of the world is, It's like a lobster in a kettle. The heat slowly turning up until it's too late and you're cooked. So don't worry about it. It's all going to end the same. Next caller, you're on the air.
One thing I think your listeners aren't considering is something we're already doing. We think humanity should embrace this. It's the great change, where the dead will rise and walk the earth.
So you guys are Kool-Aid drinkers, is that it?
It's been foretold, Randall. There are two kinds of people. The ones that become, and the ones that are devoured. For those that embrace it, there's no more judgment, no more pain. You want this. You don't want to be devoured, do you, Randall? Come on, join the party.
Let me cut you off there. Let's get this straight. Right after I fire my call screener, Stan, you're fired. This isn't some biblical event. It's no place to lose your mind. This is an infection, and that's it. It's scientific. We have one of these biblical plagues or tragedies every 10 years or so, and the only reason that most people go on with life is because they don't even know about it. There's always some event that ends the world and is supposed to change everything. You know what it doesn't do? Change anything. There's no wisdom in this. There's no grand epiphany. You'll all hang some flags on your doors or visit your church a couple of Sundays and say you found salvation and victory. But in 6 months, it'll be like nothing happened. You'll go back to your mundane, boring jobs, living in obscurity, drinking a couple of beers every Friday, laughing with your friends about how things could be better. 90% of you actually won't be better at all. You won't create anything. You just trade in one God for another. Maybe you see a shrink that gives you some pills and says, keep working that assembly line, reproduce, obey. You're just another cheap messiah on sale at every corner store, made for gullible housewives and recluses who, it's not that they can't find their way or a place in this world. They refuse to find their way. They don't want to be accepted. They're the protesters with the purple hair that say, do what I want, and then you do it, and they still aren't happy. They're never going to be happy. These people will continue to ask for more and more until they finally just ask for your life. They'd rather burn it all down than find salvation. They don't want to find their place because that would mean they don't get attention anymore. And that's what this is about. Follow me for salvation as long as you have good credit, right? Buy the bobblehead, put it on your dashboard, say 10 Hail Marys, wipe your ass, and you can be right with God, right? Please. Look, I get it. None of you are going to find peace on this station, and you never will, because life isn't peace. This world is filled with people trying to find pleasure in the house of pain. And life is suffering. If you want anything, you have to suffer to obtain it. But why do that when you can, buy a fat pill as a shortcut? The answer is right there for everybody, but nobody's going to grab it because it's too much work. Instead, he gets charlatans selling us on the end of the world at, salvation at a price. If you believe that, I have a Nigerian prince that wants to give you his fortune so you can take care of it and distribute to your favorite charity, right? Like you would do any of that. All this stuff does is feed the greedy. So all you have to do is not be greedy, just be a good person, try to put in the work, and be a little bit different. And it's like churning milk. You're going to rise right to the top. And that's why we have so few people that consider themselves successes, and why most people just sit around and complain that they don't have what the other guy has. That's our real problem. And if we could overcome that, then we could realize exactly what the problem is. But nobody's going out there right now trying to learn what they have to cure this illness, are they? We're all just sitting in our homes or doing our jobs, hoping that it's all going to blow over and it's going to be okay, right? And I don't know how to tell you if you're part of the problem or not. I just know that we're going to do what we're going to do because that's who we are. And it's time that we just come to terms with that. Anyway, I see the light blinking, so I'm going to take this call before I go to a commercial. Caller, you are on the air.
Hi.
Caller, what's up?
Hi, I'm having a problem.
What seems to be the trouble?
My mom, she's sick.
Are you a young kid? What's your name?
My name is Frankie, and I'm 12.
Well, what's wrong with your mom, Frankie?
My mom came home from work, and she wasn't feeling good, and she was laying on the couch, and I thought I heard her fall, and now she's laying on the ground. Is she okay?
So, Frankie, can you shake her? Is she making any noise?
She was moaning, and now she's still. I shook her and nothing happened.
Frankie, buddy, do me a favor. I want you to hang up the call and call an emergency number. Do you have any emergency numbers?
I dialed the emergency number on the phone and nothing happened. It won't answer. It just rings. I saw your number on this paper, so I figured I'd call you and you could help, right? I'm really scared for her.
Okay, Frankie, it's going to be okay. I'm sure Mom is just sleeping.
She turned a funny color.
What color is she, Frankie?
She looks blue.
Jesus, Frankie, you got to hang up the call. Get the emergency number back up and just try it again. They probably just didn't. You got to call the number, okay, buddy?
Oh, wait. She's moving. Mommy, are you okay?
Frankie, is she good? She just... Maybe you should get out of the house. Maybe you should just kind of get away.
It's okay. Mommy is up now. She looks kind of funny, but I think we'll go to the doctor.
Frankie, you need to get away from her right now. Please, just get out of the house. Find a neighbor, a police officer, something.
Why? Mommy is okay now. Come on, Mommy. Don't grab me. Mommy, you're hurting me. Mom!
Stan, tell me you got that caller's info. Can we send someone to the house? What do you mean the emergency lines are down? What the... If somebody out there knows who Frankie is and can hear my voice and can get through to emergency services, could you please request a wellness check at that address? What do you mean the cops are here? Well, great. They probably heard the broadcast. Tell them what just happened. Explain the problem to them. Sorry, folks. We're going to deal with this a little bit here. Pretty important. I'm going to keep it on for a little second here. I normally cut over commercial, but my producer's actually... What? And what are they here for? All right, folks, it appears like we're being forced off the air. And I have a lot of show left, so I don't think I'm going to be going. And we have a situation here that I'd like to have resolved before I go. So, yeah, I'm going to stay around. Yeah. Now, you Gestapo can do whatever you want. I'm still going to broadcast. I have more time on that little clock over there, and I'm going to keep going until that clock fills up until I'm done. All right. Oh, is that how it's going to be? Folks, the police just arrived and the National Guard just came in too. They just showed up and are now putting a gun to my producer's head. So it appears that very shortly we're going to be going off the...
Due to technical difficulties, the Dark Show will not be able to continue. We'll be replacing this section with music. We hope you enjoy and tune in next week for more amazing content on 20MB13 Radio.
Was a piece you wanted as you went to war. Put on the necks and faces to the floor. Men stood up to decry your hate, but instead you protest and bar the gate. Voices are silenced throughout space. Any dissension must be called, not faced. The one side is talking while you deny the inevitable way that you decry. Look in the mirror, who is really dead inside? You're just a slave to this cultist pride. A bully that has found a gun. Got the power to put good on the run. Your mask finally falls to your feet, showing the ugliness that hides beneath. Showing the ugliness that hides beneath. You cheered, celebrated the death of a good man. Did it make you feel better? You get the upper hand. Unable to see yourself, your hypocrisy. Claiming love made you commit heresy. False gods and false prophets lead by the blind. Advocate for a justice that no one can find. Feeding the fear mongers as they preach their lies. Only sacrificed. Look in the mirror, who's really dead inside? You're just a slave to this cultist pride, a bully that has found the gun. Got the power to put good on the run. Your mask finally falls to your feet, showing the ugliness that hides beneath. Remember that crowd cheered Barabbas go free. Jesus was put on a cross, sacrificed for eternity. Look in the mirror, who's really dead inside? You're just a slave to this cultist pride, a bully that has found the gun. Got the power to put good on the run. Your mask finally falls to your feet, showing the ugliness that hides beneath. Showing the ugliness that hides beneath.
You're listening to 20MB13 Radio, the place to get all your information needs. Give us the thumbs up and tune in that dial, and we'll continue all the great shows you know and love. Remember to follow this channel for all your entertainment and information needs. Don't miss a single moment, and we won't judge you when you come home late. 20MB13, your last chance in radio.
Listen.